ringraziare di cuore tutto il team di AEGEE Bergamo per il loro straordinario lavoro e aver fatto sì che questo evento potesse aver luogo. Voi siete un vero e proprio esempio di cittadinanza attiva e tutti in AEGEE siamo davvero orgogliosi di voi. Thank you very much to all the non-Italian native speakers such as myself. I would like to say that I'm extremely happy to see so many young people gathered here, so many young Europeans, so many important people from the municipality of Bergamo, from the University of Bergamo, AEGEE Bergamo, their families, their supporters. It feels a precious moment to see how after such a long time of preparations, so much commitment, this Agora is happening. I would like to thank wholeheartedly to the team of AEGEE Bergamo for their wonderful work, you're a true example to the rest of us in AEGEE. Your commitment, in so many cases, putting your life on hold is truly, truly unique. And I think you really are a proof of the value of volunteering, of the value of doing something for a community, the value of active citizenship. And I really want to thank you for that. And these are exactly the values on which AEGEE has been built. AEGEE has been built in 1985, when Europe was still quite a different place than it is now. It was divided by Iron Curtain. It was the communication between European citizens was not so great. So a group of young students decided to build a movement that was meant to build a Europe of citizens, that strived for democratization of Europe, that strived for enhanced mobility, that strived for a borderless Europe. And since 31 years, our volunteers are conducting a fantastic job in linking the cities with Europe. Because what is so unique about AEGEE, for those of the guests maybe who might not know, is that we don't have a national level of governance, which means that we do exactly this, build this Europe of citizens by building very active communities in cities that are directly linked to Europe. And I think here in Bergamo, it's a great example how this cooperation between so many stakeholders in the local community can bring wonderful things. And I think that I truly want to thank to the city of Bergamo for this. I think you can be really a great role models for other cities in Europe. So please share and inspire them to do so too. Because Europe needs commitment, Europe needs active citizenship, especially now in times of crisis. We hear the word crisis so many times. Some claim that Europe has always been in crisis, some claim that especially now, after the financial crisis, we also are facing a moral crisis. Because we often talk about the values we share as Europeans of cooperation, human rights, equality, democracy, rule of law, and many others. But are we still really cherishing those values? I believe we do. But we see also a lot of moods in Europe that are against those values, and I think that it's also our role as AEGEE to bring the voice of open-minded people to also interact with others. We need to go beyond our own borders as a community and share this message. That's why AEGEE is striving for civic education to build healthy, sustainable societies. In fact, we are also even starting a European Citizens Initiative to the European Commission about the importance of civic education. But we are also discussing many other topics. One of our priorities is which I know is also a great priority of Bergamo, is youth unemployment, which, especially here in the south of Europe, the rates are outraging. But I think we need much more debate about what are the structural problems of it, what is the current economic narrative, and what can be the alternatives, what can be the solutions. So we really look in long-term measures, not only in the short term. We need to also fight for mobility. Like we talk about this borderless Europe. but seeing that Schengen might be in a threat, which is so fundamental and so obvious for us, seeing that still a big part of our network and a big part of Europeans are not enjoying this freedom of movement due to visa regime. I think there's a lot of work to do, and I'm really happy that AEGEE is working on that, and I think we need much more support from outside to continue doing that. So I think we really need to continue thinking critically about Europe, challenging the current narratives, challenging the status quo. But I think it's also important that we reflect and remind ourselves of what we already achieved with the European project. In Brussels, some time ago, I was rushing to the airport, so I had to take a taxi. And I was started explaining to the taxi driver that, yeah, I'm from this European organization, I'm just going to a regional meeting in Bratislava, and you know, we will be discussing the challenges of Europe, and so on and so on. And he started giving me probably one of the best motivational speeches I ever heard, saying how Europeans take for granted and do not fully value like the peace we have, the cooperation we have, this prosperity. Well, prosperity can be doubtful in certain areas, but still that with cooperation we mean much more, and we will be achieving much more. And the fact is that he was coming from Rwanda, which obviously also puts things into a perspective and reminds us of what we already achieved, which doesn't mean that we should not strive for going a step beyond and striving for an even better Europe. In fact, I think we should be doing that, and I think this meeting in Bergamo here with over 1,000 young people, I think it's fantastic. Exactly at the same time, in Strasbourg, there's happening a European youth event that is gathering 5,000 young people from all over Europe, from, I think, hundreds of organizations. So I think it's absolutely fantastic that only one organization, AEGEE-Europe, managed to gather over 1,000 active people here. I think it's a strong message and a strong sign of the strength of our network. So really, let's use this momentum we have here, because we are gathered here with so much diversity, so much ideas, so many things that we can contribute to. So let's try to put this vision of this borderless Europe into practice. Let's try to think how we can achieve it step by step. These are very big goals, but I do believe that we need to, if we believe in them, we can achieve them just in a certain amount of time. So I have two messages before I conclude. First, to you, to us, as AEGEEans, as young Europeans, we need to believe in yourself, believe in the skills you have, in the attitude you have. I think you're already a wonderful group of people who are so much, by the fact of being here, it means that you are already striving for more, that you are willing to devote your volunteer time for something bigger, that you're willing to listen to other Europeans. So make sure that you really believe in yourself, that you believe that by collective action we can really, really achieve a lot. And let's use it. So never doubt in yourself. My second message is to the decision makers. We have some here from Bergamo, so it's actually usually when I'm giving these speeches I am more critical, like here by giving such a great example to us. I can only thank you for this commitment you do, for trusting young people, for making young people a priority in your city. So my message is to you, spread the word, talk with other municipalities, with other regions, maybe with other European regions, and tell them to take sometimes the high road, a bit more risky road, to listen to young people, to include them in the decision making, because only through this intergenerational dialogue, only through diversity, we can really reach out the best solutions. And I want to conclude because once the founder of AEGEE, Frank Benkeri, once said, "Occupy the future." I want to tell you, let's occupy the present and the future, and let's fly forward.